Hey gamers, today we're going to look at Valdora in the expansion Valdora Extra. Let's check it out. To set up for the game, each player will get this little turn summary card, which basically tells them what actions they can take on their turn. They'll get a little character card right here. They'll flip it over. It will not show the provisions here, so they'll flip it over without provisions. And then they'll start with, everyone starts with the same backpack. It's gold. It can hold 1 gold nugget in there. And so they'll put this all in front of them here. As you see on the card, they're also going to start with 3 commissions and 6 silver. Silver are these little plastic coins here, and they'll start with 6 of those, and then they'll just randomly draw out 3 of these commissions, which I'll get to in a minute. So each player starts in the middle of the city. They have their little player pawn here. You're going to put out commissions, which are these cards backed by a silver banner, because you have to pay 1 silver to get these, and they'll be placed in these book-like wooden book ends here, which are really neat, that go right over there on top of the city. You'll have commissions over there, and then supplies over here and here. Supplies are notated by the gold banner because it's going to cost 1 gold nugget to purchase these. Anyway, you're also going to have these little multicolored gems. You're going to put out 6 in each one of the areas where you see the nugget on the board there, and you can just randomly draw from, I guess they gave you this bag to randomly draw these cubes from, even though you really don't need it. Nice cloth bag, but not needed in the game. Once you set all that up, you are ready to play. Now, on your turn, it's very easy. What you're going to do is you're going to move and then take an action. That's just it. Now, for your movement, you can move along these roads and stop anywhere you want to complete quests or to pick up gems, or to stop in cities. Now, you always have to stop in a city. You can't pass through a city. You have to stop in that city if you ever get to one. And so what someone could do is they could go down here and pick at one of these gems. Now, they can only pick up a gem if they have equipment for it. So right now, at the very beginning, anything anyone can pick up is gold. That's the only resource everyone can pick up. So they pick it up and they put it there in their card. Now, once they filled up the card, they cannot pick up any more gold. If another player lands on the same space as another player and takes an action, then they have to give that player 1 of their silver. Now, that's one of the base actions, going around picking up these gems. Things you can do in the city, and this is one of these 2 cities here, is of course get equipment. And as I said, it costs 1 gold. All equipment costs 1 gold. And what you do is you can pick through, and basically these bookends, they act like little books. I'm just going to flip it over here so you can see here. You can flip it over once for free. That's a free action when you're flipping through this book of goods. And then for any additional page you want to flip through, it's going to cost you a silver. So they can shift through this and get any of the equipment they want. Different equipment lets you gather different gems, like that with the pickaxe that lets you gather a red gem, whatever that is. The ice pick lets you get blue gems. The mallet, purple. The shovel, green. The mule lets you pick up any 1 gem, but you have to pay 3 coins to use the mule. And then the cart lets you pick up any gem, and you only have to pay 2 silver. So those are basically all the main ones you can have. You can only have 1 of each item in your possession. So you go through there, you can only purchase 1. You would purchase 1, and then that would end your turn. Now, another ththing you can do in any one of these cities is to get provisions. And remember I said your card starts this way. If you don't want to get, let's say you got all the equipment you needed and you don't really want, you had to make a stop to the city because you can't pass through it, what you can do is flip this card over and get provisions. Provisions let you pass through a city on your turn. So usually to get to here, and maybe I was going to go all the way through to get to here, well, I would have to stop here in this city, or stop in this city if I was trying to take a shortcut through the middle. Well, if I had provisions, I could blow through that city once, and as I do that, I eat up all my provisions, and then I could land in wherever place I wanted to go. So provisions just help you get around the board faster. And again, those can be taken. If you're not going to buy something in those cities, you can at least get provisions, and it costs nothing to get provisions. Now, other things, when you run out of silver, you can go to any of these silver mines that are on the board there, and you can get up to 6 silver. So if I only had 1 silver, I could get 5. If I had no silver, I could get 6. But that's what you can do in any one of these silver mines here. Now, going to get quests, of course, going into one of these 2 cities, you would do the same thing. You would flip through the book. The first flip is free, and then any other flip through the book will cost you a silver coin. And of course, to buy another commission will cost a silver coin. These commissions are different. They can be for different gems, for silver. There's one for gold. There's one for like all 3 of them. And whenever you can take one of these quests, you put it on your board. Let's say I took this one, and again, you can only have a maximum of 3 commissions here, and I'm calling them quests too, because that's basically what they are. So you can only have 3 open ones. Any completed ones would go underneath your card once you completed it. So for instance, if I could pick up a red gem, well, first off, I need a pickaxe to pick up one of these red gems on the board, and then if I had it, I could store it on my supply card, my pickaxe card, and then take this to this emblem here on the board, which is right there. Now, once I do that, let's say I did that, and I'm a purple player here, and let's say I had this ruby here, and I'd pay it. It would go into this empty field here, and that's where all used gems, gold and everything will go. They'll eventually start ending up all in that field. Now, once you pay that amount, you'll just put this card underneath your character card to show that you have completed it, and now you can get another quest if you so want to. Now, like I said, during the end of the game, or midway through the game, there's going to be a lot of gems piling up in here, especially a lot of gold, because people are going to be eating up a lot of gold at the beginning. So how do you get those gems? Well, very simple. There are these boat emblems on the board here, and if you stop in one of those areas where there are boats, you can pick any of those gems in the field. And this space here has 2 boats, so that means you can get 2 of any gem, as long as you can carry it. You have to have the equipment to carry it, and you have to have availability. Like for instance, if I still have this gold here, I cannot pick up another gold. Now if I had a mule or a cart, yeah, I could, because I can pick up anything. But you get what I mean here. So that's how you can get extra gems. Now I should also mention, once you complete one of these little commissions here, you're going to have this little commission board that's already set up. It's probably going to be over to the side, but you're going to set up with all the colors here, and there's a little disc in the middle that tells you, hey, what colors go where. And so you put all these around. So if I was to finish, that was a red mission I'd finished, I'd take one of these little red completion tokens, and I'd keep it on me. Now, eventually, as the game goes on, you may garner enough to get a workshop. Workshops can help you get extra bonus points in the game. If you see here, to get a silver workshop would cost you 5 silver quests to complete. Of course, there's a lot of silver quests in the game. Gold is another very common one, so you need 3 quests to claim this workshop. Now, the rest of them are very low, even though there's tons of quests in the area for these, but you only need to complete 2 of each of these quests to claim the workshop. Now, once you claim the workshop, for the first 2, they're worth 0 points, but the other ones, they're worth 5 points each if you want them. Now, on top of that, let's say I got 2 red commissions during the game, and then I say, okay, I'm going to claim this workshop. Well, at the end of the game, I'm going to get 5 victory points, but that's not all. From then on out, every time I complete a red quest, if I deliver another gem over into that area, then on top of getting another token, I'm also going to get 10 more victory points. And they have these 10 victory point counters here that you'll deliver. So it basically makes you focus and specialize on certain quests these workshops do. And so you'll get bonus 10 points for every red quest you complete. And of course you have more. It doesn't matter which color you complete. Now, what happens if one of these runs out? Because there's only 4 of some of the main colors in the game. Well, if that happens, if you look at this track here, it basically shows an arrow to each one, meaning that, hey, if you completed a red quest, you would get your reward, of course, because you completed a red quest. But if you couldn't take a tile, you'll just take one in the next area following. So as you can see, after a while, these things are going to go pretty quick. And what harkens the end of the game is if one of these colors is left open, then that's the end of the game. After that, you add up all of your victory points on your commissions, any workshops you have, plus any extra victory points you got based off those workshops, and whoever has the most points wins. Okay, now to show you what's in the Valdora Extra expansion. Basically not much here. They give you these little cards here, and they're just little cards here, and you'll put them on the board in that order, so it could take up your table space. I suggest you just stack them up like this and just claim the next one after the next one. You can only claim them in order anyway. Every time you've completed certain quests, you can turn in those tokens and claim this tile, and this can give you just extra bonuses in the game, extra abilities, special things you can do in the game. In fact, the last few, number 14 through 18, are basically game-ending points you can claim for yourself. As well. So this one, like if you get a horse and a cart, if you have a horse and a cart, you get 10 extra bonus points. But the instructions will tell you what each card does, and basically it's just a different way to play the game. Now they also have a 2-player variant here. I really haven't played this one, but they do have that available. Looks like they have some empty blank cards as well for you to maybe put in your own rules, create your own Valdora game. And then finally, they have this really nice, and this is a metal token. It's very heavy, and it's a book, and it looks really awesome, but all it is to signify who the last player in the game is. Whoever's going last holds this book, and basically that means, hey, when the game ends, if the game ends this way, then what you'll do is you'll finish off the round, and just in case you've forgotten who went first, this will notate who is last. Where does your story, your adventure end? Like again, woo, metal token, really nice. Also, there are some expansions in the game, like mini promos you can get. Now these are orders 19 and 20. Continue it. For some reason, these are made of good cardboard, where these are made of cards. So I don't really understand why that is. In fact, the color's even off a little bit too, but that's really weird. Anyway, basically this promo lets you take an additional action after the game's over. So after the last player, or if you are the last player, you'll get 2 actions. So like it could really help you out in getting that bonus action. And then this one here allows you to shop in one of the cities after someone else has shopped in there, even though you may not be in a city. So if someone got a commission, you need one, but you're not in one of the cities, you can buy a commission. Or someone bought some equipment and you're not in that city, you could buy an equipment. You can only use it one time. So both of those are neat little promos. They're kind of cheap to find. The rest of the stuff is basically some print and play stuff they gave you. I plan on putting some cardboard behind some of these, but this one here is basically some special workshops. As you see, there's qualifications for each type. Once you get it, you put it in your player area, and for every time you complete a quest of that color, then you will get 2 tiles instead of just 1. So it basically gives you bonus tiles, which could really harken the end of the game there. This one here is really neat, and when you're selecting commissions, and instead of going through the book, you have 6 of these out, and they're all the different color gems here, and as you see with the 2 ribbons, they cost 2 silver each. And basically these are really neat because you can deliver either or to either kingdom. It makes it easier for you to get around the board. Maybe red's too far away, but purple's right around the corner from you. You won't have to pass through a city. So you can pick up one of these, which are easier to complete, but they do cost 2 silver to get. And there's only 6, so once they're gone, they're out. And then finally, there's this last promo mission here. If you get 2 gold and then any gem of any color delivered to white, you'll get a whopping 15 points. And you lay this in the middle of the board, and anyone who goes to get a commission can pick this up first, which I can only imagine this would be one of the first gems you would pick up because it's worth a whopping 15 points. And that's all the little promos in the expansion that comes with Valdora. Final thoughts, what do I think about the game? Well, there's a lot to love and hate about this game. Where to start? First off, the pieces, the look of the board. It looks great. I love those little bookends and where you're flipping the pages over to see, to look through equipment or to look through, different quests, or as it says, commissions that you can choose from. I love that. I love the little sparkly jewels on the board. I love the look and feel of it. Sure, the little silver coins are basically just plastic little chits, but it's fun. The whole board looks fun. And then when you start playing it, and I get in trouble for saying this a lot, but this is a family game. This is not a children's game, because adults can enjoy this, but it's with their children. And you're looking at, Even early teens may even really love this game. This is a game that, it does come across as a little bit of a theme because you're going here and going there. You're doing the same things essentially though. That's why this isn't a great game, because what are you doing? You're moving, taking an action. That's it. That's all you're doing. Now, on the flip side of that, there is strategy on this, depending on where you go, what you do. Do you want to maybe you did, the only thing you had was a pickaxe. You did 2 ruby quests. Well, now you've got the Ruby Workshop. Why not search out for more Ruby quests and start banging in more, 10 points every quest? Or maybe you get that person who's trying to go for all 7 and get a whopping 70 points at the end of the game. That would be awesome. There are different paths to victory and provisions. Oh my goodness. When I read the rule about provisions, I was like, who would use provisions? Who would waste a trip to the city for provisions? About toward the end of our first game, we were all going to the city specifically to get provisions so we could pass through them on our next trip, or use it when you really needed it, because they really come in handy. So the mechanisms are there, the gameplay is there, the strategy is there, different paths to victory are there. However, you just move and perform an action. That's basically it. So I'm going to put this in the family game category. Now, that being said, should you get Valdora Extra? I don't know. I mean, if you have kids and they love it and you love it too, then yes, go ahead. It's not necessary to enjoy the base game with. However, I will be honest, I will always play with I didn't play with it the first time because I didn't know how complicated this would be. And when I saw how easy this was, I quickly added this in. Now, this does change the game up a little bit because you're using these quests to get these special abilities, and they're one-time abilities you can use in the game, a lot of them, or sometimes endpoints like I discussed. It's interesting that you have to do them in order though, so that's kind of interesting. But as you're doing these quests and getting the extra bonuses, it's fun to cheat the game a little bit with those bonuses. Now, a bunch of those promos I showed you, I haven't yet incorporated the promos in there, but I will start doing that once like I said, another reason why I love and hate this game. Let me get back to this though. That book, that heavy book, metal marker. Wow, how nice. That is half the cost of this. That's what you're paying for when you buy this expansion. You remove that marker and this thing goes to half off. It's not really worth all the rest of the stuff that's in it. But that heavy metal, I was like, oh, when I saw that book, I was like, oh, I gotta have it. What is this? Oh, it dictates who the last player is. Really? I mean, just in case you forgot who went first, I guess, but it seems like there should be more to that. You made such a brilliant piece, and yet it's just a last player marker, that's all? I don't understand this game. The promos, when I get about the promos, when I make those little print and plays, it's either print or play, or it's those really nice cardboard tiles, or, tiles there. Why weren't all these tiles in? These are cards. Why are the promos in tiles that look much nicer? I don't understand that. I don't understand why they can't match them up. And then you have print and plays that really don't look as good because they're basically, I printed my stuff out on cardstock, and I'm gonna back it up eventually. I'm gonna glue it onto maybe some wooden tiles or something to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. But other than that, it's kind of aggravating. Even the promos are aggravating to me. Now the promos are good. Like I said, I haven't played with them yet, but boy, that singular get 2 gold 1 jewel, I guarantee you that's gonna be the first thing everyone's gonna be climbing for. I would too. I don't blame them. That gives you a bonus 15 points right off the bat. So that's kind of weird to me that you'd have that one big item or contract out there at the very beginning of the game. Maybe it should go in the book, but of course, unless you sleeve everything, you can't really put it in a book because it's a print and play. Like I said, things to love, things to hate about this game. I am keeping the game. I decided I am keeping it because, like I said, my nephews would love to play this game. This is a game right up their alley. They're still young enough to enjoy it. If you have kids, then you should definitely, probably check this out. It looks very pretty. If you have adults who are serious, no, pass, because it's not really that good. I mean, with the expansion, you could say there's a little bit more, past the victory, but it's basically just move, take an action. So, and then Valdora Extra, if you really get Valdora, if you really like it and you want to get the extra, this is not hard to find. Either one of these are they're really kind of cheap to find. Even the promos were super cheap. I think they're like $2 each. The two tiles I had to get. Anyway, though, for what it's worth, overall, let me get overall. I'm keeping it. It's okay. I don't think it's for serious gamers, but it's definitely a good family game. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.